Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now you must be wondering, where are all the ingredients and where is the recipe? Well, for today I decided I'm not going to show you all a recipe. Instead, I'm going to give you all my top baking tools and equipments recommendation. Now today's video has been sponsored by the Butler Hotel Supermarket, and they've sent us all of these gorgeous bakeware so that I can take you all through them and make you understand the importance of each one. They are based out of New Delhi in Lajpat, Nagar, and I myself procure so many of my tools and equipments from them. I will leave the link of their website in the description box below so you can check it out after this video. Now let's not waste any time and get started. Now the first thing that we're going to talk about are ovens. Now all you home bakers out there know how important an oven is to bake. So I'm going to take you all through some of the ovens that I would recommend and I feel are best suited for home, or if you're just about starting out in the industry and are not looking to invest a lot of your hard-earned money in. Alright, now the first oven is a Unox oven. At Cut Chocolate Cake, which is my studio kitchen, I use a Unox oven. This is a manual oven and I'm going to tell you all the model number for this oven is Unox XFT193. Now this is a manual oven, it's not automatic. It's a great convection oven to use and I absolutely love baking in this. It bakes everything a little faster than most other ovens. But the problem with this oven is that I cannot regulate the fan speed, which means that sometimes when I'm baking something as delicate as a choux pastry, they kind of go flying all around. So if you are going to invest in a Unox oven, I would suggest invest in an automatic Unox oven, not a manual one, because an automatic Unox oven has a fan regulator in it. Alright, now moving on to the next oven. If you are somebody that is looking for just an OTG, I will recommend a Morphy Richards oven is perfect for home use, and if you're just about starting out as a home baker, I think you're going to like it a lot and you're going to be satisfied with the end result each time. Now the next oven that I'm going to recommend is for those of you that are going to take your baking a notch higher and become slightly more professional. It is the Rolls-Royce of ovens for me, and that oven is a Rational oven. I have two Rational ovens that I use at dessert, and till date they have not given me any issue, and they're all somewhere about 7 to 8 years old, and I absolutely love them. Now they are quite expensive, so I would suggest starting out with a Unox if you want to take baking up as a professional career. But if you want to take it a notch higher, I would recommend a Rational oven. Alright, we all know how important a stand mixer is for a baker. Yes, if you have a good stand mixer at home, it makes your life so much more easier because you can also work hands-free instead of just putting in all your effort and time into whisking each and every cake batter or Italian meringue or anything else that you're trying to whisk. Now the stand mixer that I absolutely love using is a KitchenAid. I have had this KitchenAid for about 6 to 7 years, and yes, it's given me a few minor bumps along the way, but the good thing about a KitchenAid is that you can always send it back to their service center. They repair it for you and send it back. Yes, it is slightly steep, but what I love about a KitchenAid is that it comes in so many different colors and capacities that it just makes your kitchen look a little more beautiful, and I'm not going to apologize for that. If you don't want to invest in something as expensive as a KitchenAid, then I would suggest you can also go in for a stand mixer by a brand called Inalsa. It is quite cheap as compared to a KitchenAid. There are so many stand mixers in the market, but if I had to recommend that one stand mixer to you all, it would be a KitchenAid, and the cheaper version for that would be Inalsa. Now if you don't have the budget for either, it's okay. You can either use a sturdy hand whisk, and yes, this is a baking tool that each and every baker needs to have, because you never know if the electricity goes off, you always have your whisk to rely on. The other equipment that you can use other than a stand mixer or a whisk is a hand beater, which also a lot of home bakers use today, and the company and the brand that I would recommend for that would be Philips. I myself use a Philips hand beater. Unfortunately, I don't have that one here. It is lying in dessert right now. But yes, I use a Philips hand beater and it works brilliantly. Alright, now baking is all about precision, as we all know, and the most important tool for that is a digital weighing scale. I will always recommend you invest your money into a digital weighing scale because it's going to give you all your measurements very, very precisely. Now the next thing that comes in very, very handy when you're trying to measure out your ingredients are cups and spoons. Now why cup measurements are very important today is because a lot of recipes give you measurements in cups, and that way it makes your life a whole lot simpler to just have cups handy to bake with. We all know how important baking tins are. Now baking tins are not just important to bake a cake in, but also to give your cake a beautiful design or shape. Now you can get so many different types of tins in the market, so many different types of shapes in the market, but here are the ones that I feel you must have in your kitchen so that you can bake different types of things each time you want to try out something new. Now having a round tin is very, very important for those layered cakes that you want to make. If you want to make a 2-tier cake, a 3-tier cake, a round cake tin is very important. I've got a 6-inch one here and an 8-inch one here. So you get them in different sizes, of course, and you can buy whichever one you feel best suited for your recipe. Having a loaf tin is very important in case you want to bake a bread, a babka or a loaf cake. Also bake your tea cakes in the shape of a loaf, and those look really cute too. Other than that, you can also invest in a square tin just the way you would in a round, and you can get different sizes for a square shaped tin too. Now these days entremets have become very, very popular, and if you are somebody who is trying out entremets or petit gâteaux at home, I will suggest and recommend you invest your money in a good silicone mold. If you treat them well and clean them properly and maintain their hygiene, they will last you for a very long time. Again, they come in very cute shapes and sizes, and you can go in for whatever is best suited for you and the design that you're looking for. Also, if you want me to show you all how to make entremets and petit gâteaux, please comment in the comment section below and tell me, and maybe I can plan my next recipe for an entremet or a petit gâteau. For those of you that love baking tarts just like me, here are a few tins that you can invest your money in, and they're going to give you interesting shapes and sizes. Now, if you want to go in for a traditional tart or a pie, here is a fluted pie dish which also comes in different sizes. What I love about these tins is that it is detachable. The bottom half is detachable, so that way whenever your tart or your pie cools down, you can easily take it out. You can also get a smaller version of that, which is also really, really cute. I love making mini quiches in such molds because if you're having a party or a get-together at home and you don't want to serve something massive and you want to give people an individual portion, I think these look really cute. Now, if you want to get into a little bit more professional tart baking, then I would suggest you invest your money in a perforated tart mold or tin. These ones, these ring molds come in different shapes and sizes. Again, you can get a square one or a round one, and you get so many different shapes these days. There are also oval shaped tart tins available in the market. They give you a much better result because of the perforation and the air circulation. And if you don't want to get these, you can also get a small cake ring mold or a tart ring mold which does not have the perforation, hence it makes it slightly more cheaper because these ones are a little more expensive, and you can make your tarts in these too. I end up making most of my tarts in these molds at dessert, and I love the kind of modern shape and a modern look that it gives to my tarts. Now, traditionally in baking, a lot of people use baking paper, parchment paper, butter paper, whatever you'd like to call it. Yes, I would recommend those too. But now that we live in the 21st century, there is a thing called a silicone mat, which makes your life so much more easier. Literally nothing sticks on this. You can put whatever you're baking in the oven right on top of this without greasing it or anything, and it's not going to stick to it. That's point number one. Point number two is that these are going to last you forever. Okay, now a baking paper can be a little wasteful because each time you use it, you will have to throw it in the bin, discard it, and then take out another one to use. If you want to save on paper and kind of use something that is more sturdy and will last you for a long time, I would suggest a silicone mat. This, like I told you all, will last you all forever, and I absolutely love them and rely on them totally when it comes to baking, or even, you know, rolling out my tart dough or my cookie dough or my biscuit dough. Anything that I'm trying to roll out, I roll it out directly on this. I can also put this in the fridge. It just helps me maneuver everything slightly better. Now, speaking about tart doughs and rolling them out, well, a rolling pin is very, very essential. इसको हम बेलन भी कहते हैं, हमारे घरों में ये बहुत readily available है. But what I love about a professional rolling pin is that you only need to hold the handle, and just this part of the rolling pin will glide onto the surface of your tart shell or tart dough, and it'll just make your life that much more easier to maneuver your tart dough. So a rolling pin is very, very important. The first one is an offset spatula. Now, why an offset spatula is very, very important is because when you are trying to frost your cake, a big layered cake, these come in very, very handy. In fact, I also use this to temper chocolate with. This is a dough scraper or a chocolate scraper, very, very important tool again. And when I'm trying to temper my chocolate, I keep on moving the chocolate in this motion, cleaning my scraper with the help of an offset spatula. So for those of you that like to temper chocolate or frost layered cakes or make those really big 2-tier, 3-tier cakes, an offset spatula is very, very handy. Belonging to the same family is a palette knife. Again, the usage of this is very, very versatile. I like to use this to frost my cakes, and when I'm using this, I also like to have a turntable. Now, a turntable helps you to again maneuver your cake when you are trying to frost it, like so. In this motion, when I'm moving the turntable in this motion, it helps me frost my cake a little better, and I can keep moving my palette knife only on one side and it'll just do the job for me really, really properly. Now this is called a zester, and a zester is similar to a grater, or rather it belongs to the same family. But why this is very important is because if you are like me, who likes to flavor their cakes with different types of fruits and especially citrus fruits, this comes in really handy. If you're trying to zest your lemon or anything a little more finely, a zester comes in very, very handy. Now you all know what this is, so no points for guessing. This is a spatula, which is obviously very, very important if you're making a batter or you're trying to fold anything gently. This comes in very handy. This is also a rubber spatula, which is kind of heat resistant. Some of them end up melting. This one does not. I'm going to leave the link for all of this in the description box below, like I told you all earlier. A pastry brush is also very, very important. Why? Because sometimes when you are making a tart dough or a puff pastry, you know that excess flour that you want to dust off from the surface, it comes in handy to do that. It also comes in handy when you're trying to imbibe your sponges or your cakes with any kind of syrup. So any imbibing syrup that you're trying to use to make sure that your cake sponges are really, really moist, you can do that with the help of a pastry brush. A candy thermometer or a digital thermometer is also very important if you're trying to experiment with sugar and bring sugar to different temperatures, because sugar reacts differently at different temperatures. There is soft ball stage, hard crack stage, caramel, and to know those temperatures is again a job of precision, and for that using a digital thermometer comes in really, really handy. It also comes in handy if you're trying to temper chocolate. This is a piping bag, and into a piping bag obviously goes in a piping nozzle or a piping tip. Now you get so many different types of piping tips in the market. My favorite one is a round piping tip, a tip number 18 or a 20, because you can make beautiful dollops on top of a cake, and I love making dollops. You also get star-shaped nozzles. You can literally get an entire kit today which has multiple nozzles in it for you to kind of pick and choose every time you're trying to make an interesting cake or a cupcake. Piping bags also come in two forms, disposable and non-disposable. Now this is a silicone piping bag which I can wash and use again and again multiple times, but the one that I like to use the most is a disposable piping bag. Yes, it is wasteful, but it is hygienic. The problem with the ones that you can reuse again and again is that sometimes the grease from the icing or the frosting or your ganache just ends up sticking to this and doesn't entirely go. And over time, if you're not taking care of your piping bags, the ones that are not disposable, what will end up having is that there'll be a little bit of bacteria or fungus that can, just form. And if you're trying to bake your cakes, not just for home, but also to sell outside, hygiene is paramount. And for that, I would always recommend you get yourself disposable piping bags. How to secure your piping bag before adding any frosting, icing or filling into it. Take a piping bag, a silicone piping bag or any disposable piping bag that you have handy. Open it up, plonk your favorite nozzle right in the center. Now, the mistake that most people make is that they open it up like this, start adding all the filling or frosting inside, and what ends up happening is that it starts leaking out from here. So, this is how you're going to secure it. Twist and press it inwards like so. Now, open up your piping bag, make a C with your palm and secure the piping bag over it like so. And now we're going to start adding ganache right in the center. Press it down, press the spoon completely so that all the filling goes inside. Take it down to make sure that you're avoiding any air pockets. And like you've seen, I have already unhooked that secure twist that I'd made. Wrap it around your thumb. Twist, 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 twist till the time the ganache or the piping starts to come out. And this is how you can easily pipe using a piping tip and a piping bag on your cakes, cupcakes, biscuits, anything that you like. Now with that, we've come to the end of this video. I'd like to thank the Butler Hotel Supermarket once again for sponsoring this video for us. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you all next Friday with maybe another interesting recipe or an interesting tip or recommendation. Take care. I'll see you all soon.